But there is a handful of legislators that have power in the House that keep pushing this stuff. And what happens is those bills pass the House and then they get dumped onto the Senate. And there's some sort of obligation from senators to hear them, to pass them, to support them. And so you're really dumping a lot of bills from one committee or two committees onto the Senate. And it's just clear that that's not what their legislative priority is. Right. So as Spacey mentioned earlier, we do have a bill right now. It's a bathroom bounty bill. I don't have the bill number on this. So we've seen a couple different iterations of it. I can maybe follow up with y'all about it.
Yeah.
But this bill really would say that in certain public entities, so universities, community colleges, domestic violence shelters, prisons, correctional facilities, if you're in a bathroom and you encounter a person that you believe is trans, you can sue the public entity. So they're not saying you sue the trans person, they're saying you sue the entity. So what happens then is that each of these public entities has to write a policy to reasonably try to keep trans people out of bathrooms. And it's super dangerous. In 2023, we had a bill called SB 1100 that did the same thing in public schools. That had a legal challenge. It's not in effect. It's not enforceable right now because there's an injunction on it and it's still being fought in the court. This bill goes one step further. So in SB 1100, it was required that you or the school designate like a single gender bathroom, like with one stall, to give students an option. And if they didn't feel comfortable using the bathroom of their assigned gender at birth, an option where they could safely use the bathroom, right? This bill has no such protections, no such measures. It says that these entities can't create single sex or single occupancy. It's not single sex, it's single occupancy restrooms, but it's not required to.
Yeah, great.
So if you're a trans university student or community college,
well, if you're supposed to pee, and if you're in prison,
yeah, absolutely. And here in Idaho, we a lot of our prisoners who are trans are actually currently held in like the wrong facility. So if you're trans,
you're in a men's facility already.
And so that's the other thing is that this bill doesn't really solve much.
No.
And we have to acknowledge that trans people are at high risk for domestic violence. And they're saying that they're going to be turned away from a trans woman's going to get turned away from a women's domestic violence shelter because she can't sleep there. That's included in this building.
That's disgusting.
Super harmful.
Yeah. It's following suit of the first place I heard about that was in Odessa, Texas. And that you're able to sue the person. The trans person for $10,000. And I think that
part of it is like, how are you going to get how are they going to get $10,000 out of me?
Right.
That's one of my thoughts.
But I feel like that's where this is headed. And I think that this bill is them another foot in the door, right? And they're like, okay, these are the institutions in which we can enforce this. And then the next one, it'll be more broad. And I think that I've been worried about this for so long. Like, how are they going to enforce that?
How are they going to enforce that? Are they going to start checking birth certificates?
Are they going to make us wear? I've been worried that they're going to start making us wear something, or some sort of identifier. Because how, on like a large scale, how are you going to be able to enforce that?
Well, and maybe part of it might be that it might be difficult for them to prove that a trans person was.
Yes. So this
they're going to be taking photos. They're going to be filming.
That means nobody's safer in the restroom. Nobody's safer in the restroom.
No. Especially children.
Yeah. And so I think what this bill is really intended to do is like to deputize the common person to police bathrooms. And when we're talking about deputizing citizens against other citizens, that is so concerning.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
well, and it's forcing a lot of these like public entities don't have the wherewithal just to pay fines or to be sued for all this money. Like they can't afford they're going to have to do something to stop it.
As much as they want to support us.
And that's what they're going for.